Good afternoon, everybody. I'm so glad you can join us today for our weekly family support Q&A. We've got some of our colleagues here today from the Life Tech program that I'm really excited to learn more about and have them share with you about what the resources that are now available to you and your family members. So without further ado, I'd like to start off with introductions and we'll go right to Chris. Hi, Chris.
Hey Sharon. So I'm Chris Helmick. I'm the manager of assistive technology, innovation, and research, and I run the Life Tech program, which we will discuss today. And I have been with the ARC. I just hit my 2-year mark. Actually, I just had my anniversary over the weekend, so pretty happy about
Oh,
that.
happy anniversary. And we didn't always have Life Tech, but you've always had a kind of similar job. How did you start with us, Chris?
Yeah, so I originally started with the NextEd program, and I helped them develop the ebooks that they use in that program, and I also helped them develop the virtual reality that they use in that program. So from that program and just all the interesting things that we were able to do, we had funders reach out to us and tell us about this grant that was coming up for assistive technology and enabling technology, and we applied and we got it, and now it has formed into the Life Tech program.
Okay, Kelsey, you're up. Tell us about you.
Hi. So yeah, my name is Kelsey Hill. I joined the Life Tech group earlier this year. So Chris is the one, him and another individual were the ones that kind of helped me to just join the program, and I'm really excited. I'm the community collaboration coordinator, by the way, so I should say my title.
Cool. What's a community collaboration in Life Tech? What does that mean?
Yeah, so what I do is I primarily engage with the community, and which we'll talk about a little bit in depth, web training series. And I also engage with the community in the organizational level. So that means I work with other agencies, and just really the community side of the Life Tech group.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's probably an important thing for me to say is that this funding is across multiple counties and we really are here to work with all agencies. So that totally makes sense, Kelsey, that you've got that role because this isn't about the ARC, it's about getting these resources out to everybody. So Chris, I know you've got some things to share with us. Why don't we start there?
I'm happy to talk about the Life Tech program. I know I've been on Sharon's Q&A before, and we kind of talked about that this was going to be coming up to look out for. So it is here. We are taking people into the program now. So at the end of this, if you are interested in becoming a participant, definitely reach out to us. But also we have some information, like Kelsey was saying, she's the community collaborator coordinator. So if you're joining us from a different agency, or if you're a parent or a caregiver, you can find some good resources that Kelsey would be able to provide as well. So our main purpose with Life Tech is that we are helping people with IDDs identify and learn the right technology to support their best life. So anybody that has been diagnosed with intellectual developmental disability disorder, you are welcome to see if you can try to join this program. We are new to the area, so we are servicing St. Louis City, St. Louis County, and St. Charles County. We are possibly looking at expanding to other counties once we get this program really up and running and going through all the motions of making sure that everything's going well. Then we might open it up to looking at other counties joining as well. But for right now, we are just being funded by these 3 counties. What is Life Tech? Well, it's a new program, like I said, that supports people with IDD. And we help identify, acquire, and learn how to use technology to help in their day-to-day life. This is a very person-centered, personalized, goal-oriented approach, and it pairs assistive technology solutions with individual technology needs. This program, we begin with an assessment, so we don't really like to tell people, hey, we could possibly get you this, or we could do this, or this is a good thing, because we really like to do an assessment and find out about the person. We like to know what technology they already own, what technology they prefer, also who the people are in their life. So we do kind of take some similar things as charting the life course. We look at those realms and really try to look at every piece as a whole and what's going to be the best solutions. Once we get that assessment done, then we will figure out a few goals. Sometimes we'll look at your ISP goals. It could be personalized goals. It could be your goals in life. But we'll figure out what those goals are, and we try to keep it realistic. So it's only going to be a few goals, but we'll pair technology that can go along with those goals. Once we figure out what the technology is that's going to be best for you, we will purchase that technology as long as it fits underneath our funding services. So we'll buy it for you. It will be yours to own at that point. The St. Louis Arc does not own that technology. You get to keep it for as long as the technology works. After we get that technology, we'll provide training. So this training is very personalized as well. We usually divide it up weekly, and it could be 3 weeks, it could be 4 weeks, it could be 6 weeks. It really depends on how fast you pick things up and how well you feel comfortable with that technology. So we don't really want to walk away from that training until you feel comfortable using the technology. We are very focused on the technology piece of it. So if there are other supports in place, we really try to stay in our lane and really just focus on the training of the technology. And then we will redirect you to maybe other supports that might be a little bit better at giving you some extra assistance that we wouldn't be able to provide. This training, we'll provide training guides. So we come up with guides. We really try to look at what's the best training style for you. So do you like learning from videos? Do you like learning from reading? Do you like having someone actually show you stuff? Do you need pictures? So we really try to capture all those different types of learning styles, just so that we can really get that information to you in the best, most digestible way as possible. And a lot of this with this kind of process is we really want to just minimize that technology abandonment. So we don't want to just give you a technology, some piece of technology, and then just let you figure it out. We really want to teach you how to use that and be successful with that. And then after we get done with that, we will do a evaluation at 30 days and 90 days just to check in, make sure everything's going well. And we also provide help desk support for a year. So you can call the help desk, you can text the help desk. If you call the help desk and we can't quite solve it through texting or through a phone call, then we can do a quick Zoom call and see if we can solve it that way. If we can't solve the problem any of those ways, then if it's something that's beyond that we can't really figure out, then we would send a specialist out to assist you. So we really want to make sure that you are successful, but we do know that sometimes things break, sometimes you need to do updates, sometimes something just stops working and you can't figure it out and you need a little extra assistance. So that's what the help desk would be for. And the help desk would only be available to participants enrolled in our program. So I did want to talk a little bit about what is enabling technology and what kind of our program looks at when we're looking at different technology sources, because people say assistive technology, it means a whole lot. People say enabling technology, and that could mean a bunch of different things to people. There's also monitoring technology, remote support. So we hear all these terms and we're like, well, what does this mean? What does this mean? So for our purposes of this program, we really look at enabling technology, which enabling technology, the basic definition of it is something you can purchase off the shelf and you can use it in different kind of ways aside from the way that maybe it was originally intended for. So it's really off the shelf type of items that you would be able to purchase on your own, even if you weren't in this program. It can include hardware devices like laptops and tablets. We have also assisted some people with getting phones, so getting smartphones, because that is a very important type of device. With anything that has to do with a phone, we don't have anything to do with the cell phone plan. So if there is a cell service or any of that ongoing monthly cost, that would be something that you would either need to do on your own or have some sort of support navigator be able to kind of assist you with that kind of stuff. We will offer information of helping get you set up with it, but there's a lot of billing information and things that we do not have access to that you would need to do. We also will do applications, but these need to be non-subscription based applications. So nothing that has an ongoing monthly reoccurring fee. But if it is an application or a software that we can purchase outright for you, we will purchase that if we think that it's going to be a good goal for you or a good technology solution for you. We will also look at smart home technologies. There's a lot of different things. So we can look at Alexa, Google Home, Siri, We can look at smart lights. We can look at smart plugs. We could look at smart appliances as well. So there's a lot of different options with smart technology that are out there to help assist with everyday life. We also do look at virtual reality. Virtual reality does have a thing with if you have seizure disorder or epilepsy, it's best to talk to your doctor before you participate with virtual reality because it can cause issues with that. But it is a very good way to experience something that maybe you wouldn't be able to experience otherwise, or to just give you practice to alleviate that anxiety of maybe going out to a place that you're not used to. Or, I mean, there's even abilities to use virtuality to learn how to drive a car, to feel more comfortable driving a car. So there are options with that kind of stuff as well. Electronic medical devices can be one too. So being able to manage your own medicine. Also, there are different kind of Bluetooth devices, such as heart monitors or blood pressure monitors that can be synced up, and you can get information that you can share with your doctor. Health and wellness is another thing. So there's lots of smart watches out there that track a lot of these wonderful things about your health and your wellness. It can also be in health and wellness. It doesn't have to be necessarily fitness. That can also be looking at your sleep schedule as well. If you're interested in this, just so know, if you are interested and you want to find out if you qualify, we do have some limitations to the LifeTech program. So you do need to be 18 and over. You do need to have an intellectual or developmental disability, be eligible for SB 40 funding. So really SB 40 funding, if you have an intellectual or developmental disability that you've been diagnosed before the age of 22, then you can qualify for SB 40 funding. You have to live in St. Louis County, St. Louis City, or St. Charles County, and you cannot have a Medicaid waiver. If you do get a Medicaid waiver, there are some awesome programs that DMH is funding that if you aren't sure about who to contact, I know exactly who you can contact in those programs. We have a lot of different other referrals for people who do get Medicaid waivers. So there are resources out there for you if you are not able to participate in the LifeTech program. So I wanted to give some examples, and Sharon asked me to come up with some specific examples for people of things that we've actually been working on with people already in our program. So one thing that we did for participants, we worked with electronic payments, taught them how to use their Apple Wallet on their phone and their watch so they can make purchases, especially when they go to the ball game, because they like to go to the ball game, and sometimes it's hard to carry around cash and to have everything available to you. So we taught them how to use these kind of electronic payment systems, but also how to manage that a little bit more themselves. And it's a great way to get financial independence by looking at electronic payments and being able to manage your own wallets electronically. Account management, this is a big one. We probably help every single person with this. Is setting up email addresses, managing your things like your Apple IDs or your passwords, and getting you a password manager so that you know how to access your passwords and be able to get access to all your accounts. Could be also too that we show you how, once you get an email address, this is how you get into your email, and that you'll be able to write an email this way. So we'll assist with those kind of account management things, and that's a very big thing. And it's difficult for everybody sometimes to really just get like a grasp of what are my passwords? I don't know where to find my passwords. Am I writing it on like 15 sheets of paper? Do I have it in a text file on my phone? So there are really good ways to manage your passwords that way. Calendar and reminder apps are another thing that we assist almost everybody with. Being able to manage your own schedule is a big thing, or some way to remind you to do something, so that it can be difficult to remember all those things. And sometimes it's hard to navigate how to put those into your calendar or how to give yourself reminders on your devices. So we would work on things like that. I mentioned smart devices as well. So Alexa, Siri Home, Google Home. We show you how to set those up and use them. Sometimes we've assisted people with that, you know, their relative who doesn't live in their house is set up on their Amazon account, and it's all one big account. So we've like figured out how to separate those accounts so that it's, this house has its own account. It's no longer tied into that other person's account, so we can manage and navigate a lot of those things. Medical, so medication management and reminders, accessibility features that are built into most devices nowadays. So these can be things like vision, physical and motor, and hearing. We're talking about speech to text or text to speech, if you've heard those terms before. Also, there are different kinds of guided access type of buttons and different kind of switches that you can pair with these devices that would help with physical or motor difficulties. There's also ways to do subtitling and captions on your devices for hearing. So especially now with most of the devices, they are really looking a lot more at being able to just do captioning on anything you play on your device. It doesn't matter if it has closed captioning or not. So we can help with that. Transportation is another big one that we can look at. So being able to use a map app and see how that works and being able to find your way to things. Being able to also look at those applications to see when is a Metrolink coming or when is the bus coming, and being able to guide yourself through those. Future as well, there's augmented reality that these map apps that are going to start having, they've already started launching in certain cities, to where you'd be able to just use your camera and it would help you navigate through the map app. Another one that I really like, and I added this as a very specific example. Most of those are very generalized. This one is a Seeing AI app. I really like the story with this one is just because we have an individual that they can't really read at all, and wasn't really reasonable to rely on somebody to be able to read everything to them. So we found the Seeing AI app, which they're able to actually go, the main thing that they've been using it for is reading food labels. So they can pull out their camera and they can put their whatever food is with the labels, and it will scan the text and it will read whatever that text is that it sees in the camera. So it will speak it all back. So for anybody that's having difficulty with reading, this is an example of a great app that can actually in real time read stuff to you just by using your camera. And at this time, I'm going to hand it over to Kelsey because she's going to talk about the other areas that we are working in with LifeTech.
Thanks, Chris. So yeah, so those individuals who might fall outside of the LifeTech program for accessing technology, but still want to learn about technology and how it might be able to help them in their daily lives. I do a tech training monthly on different topics in regards to technology. So we've done topics in regards to speech to text, text to speech, guided access. We've done, we just did one on how to make some quick buttons and how to use the accessibility tools on devices. In the future, we're looking towards doing a training series on like social media and kind of just like mental health well-being, because that's so important, especially with the more integrated technology we have. You know, the more important, you know, we take those breaks and be aware of that, as well as also talking about home assistance in smart homes and what does that look like. So we have a lot of different topics that we're able to touch upon, and we want to make sure that we, you know, are able to give access to those individuals that might not be able to, you know, get that kind of information elsewhere. For our organization members, we have a quarterly collaboration group that meets to talk about technology, the kind of where technology is going, how does it affect our area. It's for our local organizations that are part of the ERA. They can also be invited into the group to participate. And we just talk about, again, the kind of the barriers, just different, and we do a lot of resource sharing, and just bring up this conversation because our organization members are also ones working in the community to help integrate technology as well. So we want to facilitate on that level the ability to spread that technology and the awareness of it.
So this is the last piece. Right now it is under construction, but we are working on a LifeTech website. This is going to be available to collaborating agencies internally to St. Louis ARC staff. Also, it will be available to participants that are enrolled in our program. So the main thing with our website is we will host a resource library for the participants and collaborating agencies. This isn't going to include our videos, our training guides, reference materials. So anything that we are gathering and we are also creating for individuals in our program, these guides would be available to access for other people to use. It also, if there are collaborating agencies that have their own material that they want to share with us to put into our resource library, we would also host those as well. And this can also include info that is just basic info about how to maintain your device. Also, our website will host our training series videos. So all the videos that Kelsey was talking about, they will be available to rewatch on our website. And we will also provide information on enrollment, on how to get enrolled into our program, but also any upcoming events that we feel you might want to attend that have to do with technology. So if anybody is interested in our LifeTech program, you can email us at lifetech@slark.org. If you want to just see if you qualify for the program, we have a basic form that you just fill out. It is really just qualification questions just to see if you qualify or not for the LifeTech program. If you do not, then we can help with getting you referrals to other programs, but it is just a very quick way for us to get that registration done so that we can get you assigned to a specialist and they can start working with you. If you do know how to use a QR code, you can also open your camera and scan the QR code that's provided right there, and it will give you a link to fill out that registration form. I definitely do want to also give thanks for our program to DD Resources, PLB, and DDRB. They are our funders, and they have made this program possible, along with, of course, the St. Louis ARC providing the administration side of this program.
The first question is to ask a little bit about what an assessment looks like. And I know you can't go into huge detail, but once you get the form stack, where do you go from there?
Yeah, so once we get we do basically, we call it an intake. So really we want to just verify eligibility, and then I usually ask a few extra questions. Mostly it has to do with, is there a particular type of personality you like to work with? What do you like to do in your free time? But also we like to ask like a question like, is it okay for us to do the assessment at your home, or do you want us to meet you somewhere? So I'll ask questions like that. And then once I get that information and I get you entered into our system, I would set you up with a LifeTech specialist, and they would contact you and they would set up a time to do an assessment. The assessment, I would say on average, probably around an hour, but it is also a time for us to get to know you. So if communication and conversations get going, it could run all the way up to 2 hours. We do ask the question as well, is there any kind of accommodations that we need to be considering as far as that time frame? So, you know, obviously we'll give you a bathroom break, but if there's any other kind of considerations we need to know, we'll do that as well. Really, if we can do the assessment at the home, that is our preference, just because if you do have technology already, it's going to be there. We're going to be able to see everything and get any information we need right then. If you can't do it at home, then really probably our preference would be that you just come prepared with the technology that you already own, so that we know that what you have, so that one, we're not doubling things, but also one of the things with our program is that we are providing technology and we will purchase items if we see that it qualifies. But if you have existing technology and you need more training, we want to know about that. So we want to know what you have so that we can give you training for that as well.
Yeah, I do find that people don't know all the features of devices they already have. So that makes total sense that you might be able to start with what people have. And so if you're going to come to my house, is there anything I need to do to prepare other than just be ready to engage with you and let you know what works best
Be
for
ready
me?
to engage. One of the things we do like to check in with too as well is we do ask whether or not you are your own guardian, because if you are your own guardian, we will check with you first before we do anything with anybody else. But if you are your own guardian and you live with other people, we do like them to know that we are coming. So sharing that information and letting them know, hey, I talked to this person, I'm going to be setting up this assessment. They're going to come over this day. It's also too, if you're not sure about those decisions and you are your own guardian, but maybe we need to check with your parents or caregiver. As long as you give permission, then we would check with them as well and just make sure that they're aware that we're coming.
So are all Life Tech assessments and appointments one-on-one then for
Yes.
follow-up?
Yes, everything as far as the individual side of our program is person-centered and one-on-one. We very much make it specific to you because everybody uses technology different, and we are aware of that.
Is this a one and done kind of situation? How many devices can I get you to help me with? How long can I be accessing the Life Tech program?
Yeah, so with our goals that we come up with after doing the assessment, we try to make them very realistic goals. So we don't want to overwhelm you with too much. We want to set you up for success and for you to be successful with the tech and the training that we provide. That being said, if say what we provide, you do really, really well and it opens the door to all kinds of new things, maybe say it helps you get a job and you get employment and you need a little bit more assistance, you can re-enroll in the Life Tech program. So it isn't a one and done. If at that time, if it is new goals and it's something new we are going to work on and it's new technology, then we can re-enroll you in the program and help you further proceed in independence with technology.
Great. Thank you, Chris. I think this next one's going to be for you, Kelsey. We have a question about if there's a list of training topics that are either already done or that are coming up, and how can I submit an idea if I've got an idea for a future training?
Yeah, great question. So right now, as far as the list goes, there isn't one available for the public, but we are again, we do have those ideas for the future trainings for what a smart home might look like, as well as like social media. But if you have specific trainings that you are interested in, say like you want to learn more tablet, my goal is to make these trainings more geared towards you guys for the community. And so you can submit your ideas or questions or topics for trainings at the Life Tech at
SLUC.org.
Tech, or yes, that's the best place to go ahead and submit that, and I'll get those. And then from there, I may be able to incorporate it in some of the tech trainings that we already have established, or I might be able to completely make a new specific training for that, that interest.
Thank you. I love this last question because I think this is where so many people are. They said, well, what if we don't even know what technology we need? When they fill out the form stack, if they just don't know if they're eligible for the service because of their location, their disability, their age, but they don't really know what technology could do for them. How do you approach that and do an overall assessment?
So when I do kind of that initial screening, I can have that conversation. I can get into a little bit of details about what it could possibly look like at that point. I can also answer questions because, yeah, with technology, it is a whole lot of I don't know what I don't know, like type of thing, which is a big reason why we have an assessment like we do at that beginning stage, is because even though the questions we're asking might not have to do with technology, we're asking them because we do know that there are technologies out there that might be able to assist you. So that assessment really does give us a good idea of this is the direction we want to go. This is what we're thinking. And once we get that assessment done, and when we come up with that list of goals and we come up with those tech solutions, we have a conversation with you before we actually decide on anything. And we say, hey, this is what we want to work on. This is what we are thinking. Is this acceptable to you? Do you agree with this? And if we're in agreement, then we move forward from there. But we really do want to make sure that we are going through that process of like, this would be a good idea for you, or this would be a good idea. So we do love when people come with suggestions and say, hey, I think I'd like this and I'd like this. Initially, my answer will usually be, yeah, we'll make a note of that. But until we do that assessment, we really find out more about you. I don't want to take you down this road and it be the wrong road for you. We really want to make sure that we are setting you up for success, and you are going to be successful, and you are going to find whatever technology we provide useful. If it is not a technology solution, we probably will not suggest it. Like, we've had people who they like to write things in their calendar. They don't want to use a digital calendar. People are like that. Doesn't mean that we have to change everything over to technology. We just wouldn't focus on that goal. We would focus on the ones that would actually benefit you.
Yeah, I just want to add to that. Also come to the trainings, because you don't have to be enrolled in a program, you don't even have to apply yet. And so that might give you some ideas of, hey, this, speech to text, I want to learn more about that. And, maybe I can now enroll in this and get a better idea of what's out there. The tech series is made to engage the community with and without a disability. Some of the tips and tricks we learn in the or explore in the tech trainings might help individuals, again, with or without a disability. So you don't have to have specific, like a reading disability to still gain some type of skill, or be able to get information that you can maybe apply to someone else. You might know someone else that has a challenge, and you just heard about this new app that through the technology series, like, hey, have you seen this, or have you tried this? Like, and that might help them, a loved one or a friend or just something like that. So yeah, I encourage you to just explore your avenues. There's so many great technology out there, and I want to help you guys to be able to explore that too.
Yeah, I think you're so right. That's kind of why I wanted Chris to share those specific examples in the PowerPoint, because I think until you start to see, oh, there's a way to expand the way I use my Alexa, or what do you mean there's a password manager? I certainly, you mean keeping my giant list of passwords in my desk drawer is a bad idea? I think all those things are things that we all need to get better at. So Kelsey, you can expect to see me at future trainings, because I think it's really hard to keep up with what's available through technology, and to have somebody be available to us to help sort out some of the best new opportunities and really help us build some comfort is going to be really exciting. And like, I didn't know about the VR for driving, which is cool too. Before we wrap up though, I want to make sure, Kelsey and Chris, that you get a final something that you want to say that maybe didn't come out in the presentation. If there's anything you want to add, let's take a minute to share that with folks now, and then I'll wrap up. So Kelsey, how about you? Is there anything you feel like needs to be reiterated?
Nope, just that, again, the trainings are made for everyone. We want anyone, regardless if you have a disability or not, regardless of what age you are, where you work, anything like that, come to these trainings and just pop in if you and see if this is something that you can apply to maybe yourself or be able to help with the other individuals.
I guess I would just leave with saying, like, I understand technology, it can be frustrating, it can be difficult, it can be challenging. And that is one reason this program exists, is because we want to help you navigate that. So if you are feeling on the fence of it, or you're not sure, we can have a conversation and we can talk about it. But definitely don't be scared about technology in any way. Technology is meant to assist us and help us and work for us, not against us. So if it is working against us, then we need to change a few things, or we need to maybe alter a few things. But it doesn't mean that we just need to throw technology completely out of the window because we get frustrated about it. Because I can tell you right now, I get frustrated every single day working with technology. It is something that happens, but if you know the right resources and the right people to talk to, it makes it a lot easier and a lot less challenging, and it can very much benefit a lot of people in a lot of ways.
I couldn't have said it as well as that. So thank you so much. Thank you both for joining me today.